In this video, I'm going to give you my thoughts as to why today I feel India's youth is not only lost, but the ones who are living in India, they are facing massive hurdles. It's more like being in India is a liability. Okay, I'll give my thoughts and feel free to comment down below and tell me where do you think I'm wrong, or if you agree with me, where do you think I'm right, and do share your point of view. Okay. Now, I'm very sure if I were to ask you, okay, what do you think the Indian youth, the problems they are facing today, right off the bat, you're going to tell me, the quality of education is bad, or the curriculum has not changed, or the quality of teachers is bad because they don't get paid good salaries, or our, educational infrastructure is outdated. The creme de la creme, only 1% or less than that can afford. There's too much of overpopulation, too much of competition. I know all the problems. Okay. However, let me share with you a personal interaction that takes place almost on a daily basis. All right. I have this WhatsApp groups, right? I have WhatsApp groups, I have Instagram. People get in touch with me, Facebook groups. So whatever I share with you guys is based on real life interaction. Okay. Sometimes they are my clients, sometimes they pay me, sometimes they send me an email, sometimes it's just people hide behind fake accounts and they send me, I'm afraid of sharing my identity. This is a problem I face. Now, this interaction took place in my WhatsApp group where I was just talking to a couple of youngsters and I was just asking them, what are the challenges you face? Now, fortunately for these guys, they have a job, so they don't have to worry. But when I asked him, how did you get the job? The struggle that he shared with me, the struggle to get a job, the number of interviews he had to go, the societal pressure, the pressure from his mother and father, his relatives making fun of him, his friends being of no use other than, hey, come on, man, this and that. The environment where, you just even getting out from your house to go to the interview from the rickshaw or the bus or whatever, that itself is a struggle. And then reaching there and seeing the other people, then going for the interview, having the cliche questions, and then coming back home all the way, being exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally, and just wondering what's next for my life. Where do I go from here? What do I do? There are no answers. There's just no answers. In fact, so many of the youth, you can scroll through social media and kill your time with TikTok and Instagram. TikTok is banned, sorry. Instagram and Facebook Reels and YouTube and read a book or go out. But then you have to come back home, right? And when you sit down after everything, you're sitting at home and you're contemplating, is this all that there is to life? Is this my life? In fact, even that guy who I spoke to, what he said is, because I didn't have a job, my mother and father were not talking to me properly. I felt they didn't even respect me. It's like as if I put them down. I let them down. My mother was very upset. She was almost like going to cry. My father looked at me as if I'm a failure. He's saying, I didn't even feel like eating the food. I was sitting there. He's saying, eating the food itself couldn't go down. And I wanted to cry when eating the food. This is what he told me. He's saying, I just quietly ate the food as quickly as possible. I just didn't want to sit there. I was so uncomfortable. He's saying, and then when I sat in the room all alone, I felt worthless. I felt completely like a loser. Why? Because I didn't have a job. And now the bigger problem is he didn't have anybody to talk. Fortunately for the guy, after nearly months, almost every time going for interviews, and finally he told me, I reached the point of desperation where I would have accepted any job, any salary, just to not be there at home, just to get a job. And he's saying, luckily, at that point of time, when I didn't have any more hope, he's saying, I finally got a job. I got a job, and I didn't know, the call came and my heart was beating. I was so happy. I immediately went. I had to go meet them. They discussed the terms and conditions, and I was perfectly fine. I had to inform my parents, which I did, sign the contract, and I started my work. He's saying, ever since I got the job, ever since I was able to bring that small salary, he thanked me for my content, whatever. He told me that. He's saying, but when I got my salary and I gave it to my parents, out of respect, he's saying my father beamed with happiness. My mother was so proud, and she went to the temple and she bought prasad, and they celebrated. They called the relatives. He's saying all of a sudden I felt my self-worth came back, my self-respect came. My father felt happy. He was not like overly joyed that, I achieved greatness. Hey, he's working. Good. He's a support to the family. My mother was like, at least my son is going to work. Good. Relatives were like, ah, good, he's working. Saying all of a sudden I was of some use. It's like I felt like a human being again. And he's saying, then he was talking to me. He was like, sir, I just remembered your words. He's saying, as soon as I got the job, as soon as I got the money, then they give me respect. Only then they give me respect. It's like my worth was my salary. My worth was the job I had. My worth was, oh, can I bring money, to the house? He's saying, I understand that I have to support the family, but the way they made me feel. And then, he opened up and said, sir, sometimes I used to think, why am I alive? Better I'll die. Better I'll kill myself. He's saying, sir, because I didn't have anyone to guide me. I didn't have anybody who I could talk to. He's saying, you were the only one. And I was lucky that you at least used to respond with one line. Maybe you'd shout at me, maybe you'd give me tough love, whatever. But at least you were there. He's saying, if I would talk to my mother, she would start to cry and give all the drama. If I talk to my father, he would start with a long lecture of, how much he did for me, sacrifice. He's saying, it was terrible, sir. He's saying, now, after I got the job, I make it a point that I'll work maximum number of hours. Like what he told me is, sir, I'm following your strategy. What advice you gave me? Even though I'm paid 8 hours, I'll work for 10, I'll work for 12 hours. Extra time I spend with my boss, extra time I spend learning something. I don't want to come back home. I want to spend the maximum time in the office, not wasting time, not looking at the phone, not chit-chatting with others. He's saying on my career, learning on the job and networking, because that's one more thing which I mentor them. He's saying, and thanks to you, sir, my boss now has developed a kind of liking for me. He gives me new tasks. He allocates this thing, and he's told me that if you work hard, you can look for a promotion maybe after 1 year or so. He's saying, at least I'm being trained. He's saying, I feel more happy in the office than at home. And then he told me, sir, now when I go home, now the talks are about marriage and the talks are about you have to start a family, you have to settle down. He's saying, sir, I really don't want to listen to all that bullshit because it's only because I got the job and the salary. Now they're talking all this. He's saying, and I don't want that because they will find the girl who they like and I have to adjust accordingly. He's saying, I just feel suffocated. Okay. Now I shared with you a real life story of a real life guy earning an average income with an average family. Do you see what is the problem here? Do you see what is the issue? If you have not, if you're kind of guessing and on the fence as to what am I saying, means I'm sure you know the problems. But let me give you the point which I want your attention. You see, his mother and father sent him to school. Mother and father paid for his college education. Mother and father helped him get the diploma or extra qualification. But what was missing was the mentoring process, the guidance. Now, I'm not saying this to advertise myself as a mentor. Listen carefully. The mentoring process is whereby you help an individual navigate through life, the real world, not the theoretical read from a book and do the work. Because when the guy was unemployed was when his mother and father turned their backs on him. When he needed them the most, they shut the door on him. And how did they do that? The mother would, when will you get a job? Oh God, what, you depress a person if you talk like that. As it is, the person is depressed. As it is, the person is struggling to get a job. As it is, the person doesn't know when the phone call will come and feeling lost. And then if you have a mother who, oh God, what is this and all that. And then you get a father who looks at you as if you're the mistake, as if it is your fault you are born. I mean, as a young man, where the hell do you go? Yeah, who do you go to? Like, yeah, you can watch YouTube, Alex Hormozy or some coach who will say, believe in yourself, 7-figure income. I was sleeping on the couch and today I have a Ferrari and today I have a Lamborghini and all that bullshit which they give you. Sign up for my course. That's all bullshit. All the 7 steps to success and the 3 steps to this thing, positive thinking and believe in your dreams and all that vagaries. You're looking for a human being to talk to relate to, where you can feel, I have this one, if not friend, this father figure, this elderly statesman, this role model or this mentor who I can just open up to. That is not at all there in India. It is not there at all. What is there is to be made to feel like shit by being judged, where your sense of worth is your job, your position, your salary, where you have these unwanted relatives whom you have never chosen, but they would rub your face on the ground and make you feel shit with their comments or their questions. what happened? When will you get a job? What is this? And then you have this society that is constantly looking at you and, kya yaar, what is this? You just feel like shit. And the funny thing is, when you get a job, when you get money, my son, oh, this, oh, that, suddenly you're treated like a normal human being. So when you live in a society that is like this, I mean, what do? And I don't blame him for wanting to spend time in the office, which I have recommended him. It's better you be there than to sit at home. Sit at home and do what? See your mother's face, father's face. Yeah, yes, they have good intentions. Yes, they're good-hearted people. Yes, they paid for your education. They looked after you. They give food, shelter. You have to be grateful to them. Yes, but up here, whatever they are giving you is not helping you grow. It will not help you become more competitive. It will not help you become something in life. In fact, now that he is having a job, I've told him, don't go through the motions and just become another factory worker. Have a vision for what you want to aim for. Only thing is, he keeps needing direction. Sir, what do I do next? So where do I go? Oh, sir, my boss is talking and my colleague is talking like this. I don't know how to handle it. So you see the real life challenges. How do I deal with office politics? How do I deal with stress? How do I deal with pressure? My boss is not talking to me, or my boss told me this, or this was said at the meeting. These are the areas that will determine your success, that will determine your growth. And for that, you need somebody to guide you, which is not at all present in India. See, I'm not going to speak of the entire nation of India and say that, oh, we need to completely change the school education, the teachers, the infrastructure. It's impossible. We can say words like corruption and bureaucracy and red tapeism and quotas for what we call that, the low caste people, and people with influence have a godfather. These problems will forever remain. They are never going to go. Okay, every country has its problems. India has its share, which are even far more greater. So forget the whole nation. Let's look at the individual. The sad fact is, the only guidance, mentoring, and information that they will have access to is on their smartphone. And on the smartphone, every app is fighting to make you addicted, from online gaming to porn to Instagram to Facebook to even YouTube. So there are some who forcefully or with discipline or because they have the passion and drive will listen to educational stuff, Spotify, podcasts, YouTube, fine. But then there's a limit, right, of how much you can improve. Like, let's say, for example, you want to learn cooking. You can see YouTube videos on how to cook. But there's a limit, right, until which you'll grow. Beyond that, you're not going to grow, right? So what I feel our Indians need is someone to guide them. The parents were supposed to take the role, but now since the parents themselves don't have the capacity, they have the good intentions, but they don't have the competence, they don't have the experience. The question is, where do they go and who do they find? So the only solution is at your workplace, whoever is your boss, provided he has good intentions for you, provided he is competent enough, or provided you find someone in the hierarchy who you look up to and can emulate, can seek for guidance, that would be your immediate solution. The ideal solution would be to have a coach or a mentor who can guide you step by step. That is how you become a cricket player or, say, Olympic athlete like Neeraj, the javelin throw guy, or you'll achieve excellence. That is provided you have a dedicated coach, like that movie Dangal, someone who is dedicating his life to you to help you achieve your goals. But if that is not there, which I guess 99.99% of the people will not have, seek what you can manage. Okay. One last thing I would say before I conclude. Your environment will determine the quality of your life. If you're surrounded by idiots, you're not going to become an Einstein. If you're surrounded by intellects, chances are it'll rub a little bit on you. If you're surrounded by people who keep fit, you would always think of fitness. If you surround yourself by people who do charity, maybe you'd want to do good for others. So surround yourself with the types of people you wish to become. Now you'll say, sir, I want to be with millionaires, but why would millionaires be with me? Figure out a way, because not everything should be handed over in a platter and, oh, here's a solution. No, I didn't have anyone to give me those answers. I figured out an answer. If you use your gray matter up here and use common sense and you're relentless and you keep seeking, you will find the answer. And if you do not know, ask others. And until you get the answer, don't stop. I hope this video was able to shed some light and give you some bit of wisdom. Feel free to comment down below and let me know your thoughts. And yes, I can definitely tell you that the challenges are not going to go away anytime soon. but you cannot afford to wait until things become better. So better start your journey now. Take it seriously. And I hope you achieve excellence. Good, bad, ugly, feel free. Comment down below. This is me signing off. You guys take care.